Thanks for here. Still without a computer, unfortunately. I plan on having it, I believe, next week. I talked to the Square Trade people, and of course, hey guys, uh, they told me that I'll get my computer shipped probably on the 30th. They're thinking they're gonna have it fixed by. So hopefully by that following week, I'll have my machine back, and so the show will be a little better lighting, better quality. Phone doesn't do too bad though. I mean, just the lighting is a little kind of weird, but it is what it is, and I'm not here for looks. I'm here to drink. So let's look and see what we got going here. Um, One thing I was gonna share with you guys was an actually uh, one that I'm interested in. Hey Lee, this is one that Lee has a sample of. Lee, if you don't have anything open, maybe you should join me and have a little sip of the Glenlossie. This is the Glenlossie Distillery 1997. This is a cask strength, 53.3%. It's Alexander Murray Company is going to be the independent bottling on this. I have had one of theirs, Glen Keith, that I enjoyed. The other guys, it's out of focus for you. Let me see if I can get it a little bit. Yeah, it's the phone's not going to be the best quality, so this is probably the best it's going to get, unfortunately. Anyway, because I get my computer back next week, everyone. I'm still waiting for my computer to be fixed. Anyway, but let's maybe start with this guy. I'm debating on what's the best one to start with. That one is on the menu. We also have a sample. This one, I believe, comes from, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, but I think this one's from Paul. Or is this you? No, this is you. This is a sample from Mr. Lee. This is the Glendronach 8-year, 46%. This is the Hielan, Hielan. I think this is pronounced Hielan if I had to guess. Glendronach 8-year, 46%. This doesn't go for very much, and I've heard it's extremely, extremely good. So this is going to be one of the first between that and the Glenlossie. I'm debating on which one to start with, but we're gonna finish with just a basic Bowmore. I've been doing so much high level whiskey lately that's over $100. Sometimes it's good to bring it back, where people, some people can only afford, a $50 bottle, $60 bottle. I was lucky to get this on a flash sale. Friend Master of Malt right before they stopped shipping again to America. It's like they shipped to America, and then they only shipped to like 10 states for a while there. And then all of a sudden, they opened it back up to Maryland for like literally like a week. And then they opened it back up for like a week, and then they shut it down again to everybody in America. So now we're looking at Whiskey Exchange and some other sites that are out there. So if you can, Lee, let me know that one that you talked about from London. Send me an email with that site name because I'm eager to take a look, see what they got, because I might have to do some ordering. This is just a basic Bowmore number one. It's I got it from Master Malt from the UK. It's not, I don't think, available in the United States. I could be wrong about that. I've never seen it. I know they have like a small batch here in America. They have I'm trying to think. What's the other like really like their entry level stuff. I can't remember, but I got this for like $26, which is really really cheap. I think it's regularly around 35 ish, something like that. It's peated, it's smoky, it's just an entry level non age statement 40%. But since it is peated, I think we might have to wait on this guy because I don't want to destroy the palate. So that's the order. I'm debating whether we want to do the. I think I'm going to start with the and Mr. Lee's right. We did have a sample of this Glendronach at the room. Didn't get to do a proper review. I took some notes on it. I do remember enjoying it a lot. And this one we might. I'm trying to think. Should we start with the Glendronach or start with the Glenlossie? What do you guys think? I'm just curious. Of neither one repeated. There is a cask strength versus a 46, but flavor is pretty powerful on both, even for the ABV. It probably doesn't really make a difference. Anybody else have the Glendronach 8-year besides Mr. Lee? And I think he still has some left, and we'll see. They're talking about nasty beer from InBev, who bought out Master Malt. Yeah, that's kind of sad. They're going to lose a lot of business. They already acknowledged it in America. So, but anyway, let's uh, let's get something poured here. I'm going to pour out a couple of drams here. I think we'll start out with the 8 year because it doesn't take near as long to settle down. Let me get another glass here. Should be one right up here if I remember correctly. All right, handy glasses. That's what I like. Where's Mom? I don't know. I haven't talked to her today. She does know it's Thirsty Thursday, so no excuse not to be here. Put it that way. I'm sure she's probably, if she's not able to make it tonight, she's probably gonna watch and comment on the comments. So I have a feeling she'll probably be around for the comments at least. Let me get rid of this message on the deal here. Unplug this. Sorry about that, guys. I just had to get something out of my way so I could actually see better. Oh, cool. I didn't know I can get the chat bubble to come up on the screen. Everyone sees Shami shaved his head and trimmed his yellow beard. Hey, I hope I'm not getting too big here. It's all right. I try to keep it somewhat managed. No, I haven't seen his long. I knew he grew out a little bit, but I didn't know how big it was. Um, I haven't heard from Swami in a while. I saw him pop in on Aquavite's live show earlier when I had a chance to pop in as well, but I didn't see him say much. He just kind of said hi, and that was about it. I guess I'll start out with this Glendronach 8. This is one that's really surprising to me. Um, First off, for an 8 year, the has a really beautiful nose, and coming into an 8 year, yeah, you know it's going to be a youthful, vibrant whiskey in some fashion, but you don't always get a lot of different flavors with it, and this has a very good, complex nose to it. It might take me a while to get everything out, but I mean, you get a really nice balance just starting from a big picture, a lot of nice balance between fruit, sweetness, the confection, sugary notes, also with some nuttiness. It's pecans and cashews, walnuts, and there's some really good fruit back there too. It's not overly sweet though. It's a really nice blend, and you also get some floral notes in there too, and like some honey on the back too. Wow, it's funny. I've had the 12. I've got an empty bottle sitting back there, and it was fantastic. $65, it's a little high for a 12 year, but after I had it, then I understood why it's so good. Um, yeah, Ron Hirsch in a good way with the Lagavulins and the Taliskers too. That's true. And this is kind of similar to that. It is only 46%, but that's really all it needs. It doesn't need to be 48 or cask strength to be very enjoyable. Um, I would go neat on this, definitely to start out with. Hey, buddy, Redemption, good to see you. Long time no talk for sure. How you been doing? Doing a Glendronach 8 Hielan right now. The sweetness builds over time, and I like a good sweet dram. So this is like right up my alley. And it's much more affordable. It's like half the price of the 12. The unfortunate thing is it's just not widely available in the United States, and I'm hoping if after I give this a glowing review, and I will tag Glendronach Distillery on the Twitter when I post it. Hopefully they'll get their attention that hey, there's a lot of us that enjoy this 8 Highland that would be always nice to have a cheaper, tasty option. Because the revival's not coming back until next year, 2019. So, mm, that is freaking fantastic. buttery. It's a pecan Danish, and I mean, perfectly cooked, perfectly balanced flavors. You get the doughiness, you get the sweetness, you get the nuttiness. It's I mean, I guess it's not maybe an overly complex dram. It does have three different profiles to it, so that's why I'm leaning towards more of a complex profile. But because usually sometimes you just get one, and it's just got a couple things in there. It's good, and that's what the old Pulteney 12 reminded me of. I only got a few notes out of it. It was good whiskey, but to me it was a little one dimensional. This has got three different, completely different profiles that go well together. Mm. And it can handle a couple of drops. Now, I might just get the old dropper out and put literally like two baby drops. And not really to tame anything. It's not hot by any means. Just to see what happens to the flavor. And we're talking just that much, just a couple drops. And sometimes you might get more floral, you might get more herbal, you might get more sweetness, you might, and if it's a peated or smoked one, sometimes he even brings that out, sometimes it tames it down. So, yeah, he's another fellow Virginia drinker. Yeah, I haven't talked to Redemption in quite a while. I'm glad it was just work that was holding you down. Hopefully you're got a better deal. Yeah, thanks for hitting that thumbs up, by the way, guys. Appreciate it. It it is a little runny on the legs when you first take it and do the little anaconda movement here. Take a look. It is a little runny, but the mouthfeel doesn't feel thin. That's what's great about this whiskey being an 8 too. Because sometimes you get one of those younger ones and they're really thin. And I like a more oily, rounded taste. Yeah, but it wasn't like I put water in it to tame it. I put water in it to bring out make the molecules flow, bring out the sugars, bring out you know, I mean, we're talking like drops, like maybe one or two drops, like that size. So yeah, I felt his look, his gaze from across the state line. Yeah, I know how he feels about his neatness, but I'm a big fan of giving it a couple drops, and Paul agrees with me. So if you talk to generously Paul, he will agree with me that sometimes it just takes a little couple drops to get a little more out of it, and if you get a little more out of it, then I'm all for it. I'm an equal opportunity drammer. Yeah, there's whiskeys that water helps open up and some that don't. That's true. It does depend on the whiskey. And this is one I think that it does help get the sugars like balanced out more. It brings it out the sweetness a little bit. And I like that. I like you know, there's enough water in the air for me. Tom, you and Lee have been hanging out too much together. I can tell already. Now, I'm usually like that though. I mean, typically after I've tried it with a couple drops of water and I've experienced it that way, 9 times out of 10 when I go back, I have it neat because I just prefer it that way. So I'm with you guys when it comes to that. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm the first guy that tells people, hey, don't you dare put a drop of water on that before you try it neat. You know, and then after you've had it with a little bit of water, then if you prefer it neat, then go right back to it. Hey Richie, thanks for stopping by. We're doing the Glendronach Hielan, the 8 year. Usually only overseas available. If you can get it shipped over. Oh, thanks for stopping by, everyone. I hope you had fun. Sorry I had to go so soon. Sometimes let the glass stand for a while. Almost never add water. Huh. I understand that, but just give it a try. And I'm not talking like a teaspoon, and I'm definitely not talking a tablespoon. I'm talking like a couple just droplets. and see if you get more out of it. That's all I'm asking. But and after I do that, you're right. 9 times out of 10, I'll go back after I got my couple extra notes I got out of the glass, and I'll go back just enjoy it neat and have a nice day. No big deal. Oh, the 21. Yeah, I do have that, Richie. I will be doing. I think we just did a review on that. Yeah, we did a review on that when we were in the. We did, we did a review on that. Lee, you're cut off, man. We did a review on that in the when we were in the hotel in the VIP deal. So if you want to have a dram with us virtually, it's in the past, but bring up that Parliament review and drink with us. That was a fun one to do. That was a really good time. Had a better time in just hanging out with Lee and Paul than I did at the actual the whiskey expo, which is really sad because it cost a shitload more money than it did to just hang out at the hotel room. But it's okay, you know. Lesson learned. We'll have to have a whiskey meetup group of some sort, maybe once every, I don't know, talk to these guys, maybe in the meeting up once every 6 months or something if we're lucky, and just pick a midway point city, and maybe, you know, even some of you guys can hang out and, you know, get like probably rent like I think, I wonder how much it is just to rent out a conference room for like a couple hours at a hotel. It can't be that freaking much, I would think. You don't have to have a huge one. If you got, you know, 5, 10 buddies that are just coming to drink scotch, you don't want to stay, you know, terribly long, but you know, you just want to have some drams and chit chat, and then go to your own room. You know, that would be pretty cool. Mm. Another great thing about this Glendronach 8 Hielan is the finish is outstanding. It lingers and lingers and lingers, and you get, oh, so I mean, great caramely goodness. Hey, there's my stepdad Dave. I'm sure mom's right behind you somewhere there. People have been asking him for mom, so there you go. Nice, nice, sweet, but that finish has got some, I wouldn't say bitterness, maybe some slight mocha notes in the back, a little bit of coffee, mocha, chocolate, caramel, sweetness still hangs around with some hazelnut stuff, and it's a, I would say that's a long finish too. I mean, it goes and goes. It's got to be the oil that brings out that butteriness, and that's why I like that heavy mouth coat, man. I mean, that's what I think brings that finish out. And for 35, $40, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. If they had that available in America, that would be an easy daily drammer. I mean, I mean, the Magnus from Hilton Park is decent for a daily dram, and of course, everyone knows Johnny Walker Black, Double Black. But for taste, price, and an age statement, even though it's 8 years, Jesus Christ, man, you don't need to change anything. It's 46%. It's really well done. If it was 40, excuse me, 40 or 43, it wouldn't be near as good. I think 46 was a hell of a job. Hey Lee, is this uh, do you know if this is an older bottle or if this is a newer Brown Foreman type bottle? I'm curious about that because I know that my bottle was a Brown Foreman from maybe 6 months ago, and I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between the old and the new. I think they thankfully kept the old to new ways decently, but I'm curious if you know if that bottle you've got is Brown Foreman or the old school one. All right, let's. We've had the Glenlossie sitting out for a bit, so while that's doing that, let's pour us the Bowmore and let that rest for a bit while we're gonna have a sip of the Glenlossie. Sorry for the hand in the face there. 7/19/17. That sounds like a Brown Foreman to me. It probably has Brown Foreman on the name too, I imagine. Let's set that in the back so we don't get mixed up here. And let's take a look at this. Yeah, the Glen Keith 21. I liked it. I wish. I liked it, but the other guys I think like the Tomor 21 better from Berries. But I'm surprised because I like the sweetness and the tobacco notes that I got out of the Glen Keith. I like that a lot. But we'll see how this goes. This is a sample that Lee has too. So if Lee, if you haven't poured yourself something already, let's have a little sip and tell the people what you think out of it too. Let me have a little palate cleanser here. Oh my, living the dream. That's funny. I don't think this is any added color. It's a nice color for a 19-year-old. You know, it's not super dark, but it's definitely not what I would consider, you know, light either. It's good middle of the road, strata hay kind of color. Really nice on the nose. You get some sweetness from fruit, not as profound as that Glendronach 8 Highland, a little more refined, and I'm sure that's where the age comes in effect for that. This is neat. There's no added water to this Glenlossie yet. This is 53.3. I will be adding a couple drops, whether Lee likes it or not. Seems like it holds its legs up really, really well. They don't fall too quickly, so should be a hopefully a decent, at least a medium. That Glendronach is leaning towards a heavy mouth coat. Actually, it's more of a I'd say that's more of a on the heavier end. This is probably more of a medium, but this is just going by looks right now. The Glenlossie is a Highland. This guy, if I'm trying to remember correctly, I think it might be a space side. Lee, do you have that information off the top of your head? I can actually look it up real fast. Let me see on my computer over this side and see what we get here. One second. Let's see, distiller. 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Looking up the old. At least Glenlossie should be in here. We're trying to get. We've got some beta test people that are putting bottles into distiller.com, and but they're not really behind, but there's some work to do, and hopefully they'll be giving more people some access to try these out, putting some bottles into the system, and yeah, it's a space side, so not surprising because space sides do typically lean towards the more fruitier, sweeter end, a little more flavor than a typical just basic Highland too, which I like. I prefer a space side usually to a Highland. Hmm. Even though there's some fruity sweetness going on, there's also some really nice, what I would consider. I think this is a pretty much ex bourbon cask. If I had to, if I'm just going by the nose. I don't have the notes on it handy, but pretty sure this is an ex bourbon cask. I doubt there's any sherry going on in here. See, I do get a lot of woody, but more of a bright woody note, like sawdust, but not in a bad way. And that's where I think the plus is it's definitely I think better with the palate than a nose. The nose is good, but it's in the fruit, the sweetness, and some of the the oak. I wasn't really getting a whole lot else other than that. The palate, though, is very intense on the fruit. Um, and this is more of like your strawberry, raspberry, ruby red type fruits. Some powdered sugar in there. Maybe some, maybe a little, I mean, very subtle herbal notes. Maybe a little bit of touch of mint. Not heavy, but really light. I think I'm getting it now in the nose as well that I'm coming back in. Some bright. It feels like roll of the dice shipping a bottle. Yeah. Um, well, ordering one. I mean, worst case scenario, you might have to cancel your order, but yeah, I haven't had busted bottles or anything. I've always had good shipments. Thankfully, I've never had to go back and cancel an order, which is always nice. Um, but I have had, um, well, I've had one bottle that was broken, but it wasn't it wasn't anything horrible. It was just a little mishap deal, but it was more of a small, like a sample type bottle within a full fledged bottle, so it wasn't as painful. I felt bad for the guy that sent it though. That wasn't good, but these things do happen. But thankfully, it's rare, so usually, thankfully, everything usually gets there in one piece, and I just hope I could find some decent deals on online overseas because they always have a ton of stuff that I'd love to try that I can't get over here. So, mm. I don't think I'd ever add any water to this. So Lee is gonna hate me for it, but even though I'm really enjoying it neat at 53.3, I'm surprised it's not hot at all. Are you drinking this yet, Lee? If you haven't, you need to break a glass out. I think you might at least like it a bit. Um, it's definitely not a hot. Yes, the dropper. Lee hates this, by the way. He wishes you never sent it to me because he doesn't like adding any water. But I'm trying to convince him that sometimes to get a little extra out of it, you have to put a little water on. So Glen Scotia 15 and Victoriana. That's cool. The Glen Scotia 15, I love it. I need to try that Victoriana still. It's definitely on my radar as a, you know, to the to-do list, I should say. Excuse me. Yeah, he's allergic to water. I don't think that's always true though, man. I really don't. I think that they get it to a state where you can still add just a couple of drops and get it flowing, get the molecules rolling, and everything's perfect. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it depends on the glass, and the age. Trying to see if I get anything else out of this. To your amusement, I don't know if I'm really getting anything else out of it with the water. Probably took my fruit away, actually, which is really sad. I liked it better neat. I will agree. It's good, but you know, it's funny because I think it got a little more hot when the when the water was added for some reason. I don't know why that would be, but I think maybe the flavor was balancing out the hotness before. But sometimes water does make it better. I've had that happen before, but this is one of those times when I don't think it actually helps a whole lot, either way on nose or palate or finish. But excuse me, the finish is it's decent. It's medium, I'd say. Mm. Well, you sound like my friend Whiskey Throttle when you say that. Remember the guy with the helmet that was on with Swami that didn't take his helmet off? That's Whiskey Throttle. Mm. It's good. I actually, the Glendronach 8, I hate to say it, even versus a 19-year-old Cask Strength whiskey, I think I prefer the Glendronach. That's just me. But that's crazy to say. But this is an independent bottling versus an actual distillery bottling, too, so you got to take that into account. But it's good though. I mean, if I had to give stars on these so far, the Glendronach would definitely be a solid four. I mean, it's I like it just as much, if not better, than the 12. As crazy as that sounds, I really like it. This Glenlossie 19. Wow. I mean, the palate. I mean, the nose is it's intermediate. It's decent. It's not horrible, but it's not fantastically complex either. The palate's pretty good. It's where it gets better, but the finish is definitely just a medium. At least it's not dry. I'm gonna probably end up giving it like a 3.25. I'm thinking. Hate to say it, but can you ship to Maryland from California without issues? You can ship salsa, and that's our we use the code word salsa. I just I would just say ceramic art is what a lot of people ship and without a lot of issues. Put fragile in the box when but you just pack it up, put your paper and your bubble wrap and get it all ready to go. And when you get there, you say, hey, I've got this to ship, and put a fragile sticker on there, and that's about it. There's not really a whole lot to it. I think it would be fine as long as they don't like shipping, any liquids. They don't like shipping glass, I don't think. Depends on who you take it to, of course, but I would stick with UPS or FedEx. I would not ship USPS. Um, that's just my thoughts on it. But if you ask around, you probably could get some good advice on that outside of the video here. But the there's ways to go about that. So the long answer is yeah, it should be fine. But let's see here. Let's go for the Bowmore. Now this one I don't really have a whole lot of big high hopes on it, and with being $26 flash sale, 35 regular, I think you know it's supposed to be have some peat smoke in there. It's supposed to be a decent Bowmore. It's funny because on the bottle it says it's our number one malt. I'm like, I don't know about that. I think Bowmore probably has a few other ones that are like the Mizunuri cask, for example, that Lee is going to. I heard he's going to graciously send me a sample of that. By the way, I thought I heard that. I might be a mistake. I might have to check my hearing, but I'm pretty sure he said he was sending over the Mizunuri casks for a little sample. But anyway, that would be their number one malt. But this one, hopefully, will not be too disappointing. I do like the 15 darkest I've had. It's decent, and I've had the Doris Moore, the batch 3, and you know that was excellent too. I have not ever had the 12 or the 18 or any other Bowmores, sadly. So this will be number three. No, I had the Golden Reef. We had the Gold Reef from Paul. I think it was Paul that does a lot of travel. It's a travel retail exclusive. That was a good bottle too. I have not been let down by Bowmore yet. So I like their profile. Some people hate the Darkest 15 because of the sulfuric tannins and some of the funky notes with it, but I enjoyed it. Like I enjoy a Ben Nevis 10, so you know that's for me. So let's see if we dig this one. It seems a bit runny. It does seem a bit thin on the eyeball, but we'll see. But I thought that's the one you said you were gonna send to me for sampling, man. Come on. That is a top. That is a top bottle, man. Uh, does Bowmer add coloring? I'm going to say yes. They do add coloring to some bottles. Is this one colored? It probably is. I mean, it's no age statement. It doesn't say, you know. Let's see, vanilla sweetness, blah 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 blah. Doesn't really say anything about chill filtering or coloring, so I suspect it probably has both. This is only 40%, so it is going to be on the lower end of the ABV spectrum. So I'm sure they color it slightly. I don't think, if you look at that, it's not like it's, overly dark like the 15. That 15's definitely got a lot of E150 in it, I'm sure. But this one, not so much. But they probably put like a little tad in there, I'm sure, to give it a little bit of yellow hue to it. But wow, that's actually pleasant. Hmm. There's some peat smoke in there. He's gonna finish his ale. Damn, man. I guess we're gonna have to get another bottle of that. I need a bottle for myself for that. I don't collect Glendronach. I probably am gonna end up collecting it though, since I do like that eight a lot. But man, I'm trying to stick to one area here, like Isla and maybe Campbelltown, and that's it. If I start collecting everything, my basement's gonna look like a freaking Scotch warehouse. Oh my. Maybe that's not such a bad thing though. But ooh, the 18 from Yamazaki uses some Mizuno with along with some Oloroso. That sounds good. I have not had the Yamazaki 18 yet. The only Japanese whiskeys I've had is the Hibiki 21, not Campbelltown, Campbelltown. Wow. The um, the Hibiki 21. Do we have the 17? I'm not sure. Trying to remember. I don't think so. Never had the Harmony either, but did have a lot of Nikas like the Takasuru, the Coffee Green, which I did like that one. Um, there's another Nika. I think from Whiskey from the Barrel that was pretty good too. But that's only I think Japanese whiskeys I've really had. I never had any Yamazaki. I'll have to try that sometime. This is pleasantly. I don't think it's a heavy peat by any means, but it's medium, airy. Light, salty peat. There's some smoke in there. Hmm. Definitely get some of the barrel. A little bit of wood, but not overly oaky or anything. Gotta get some floral notes in there too. I think. Hmm. It's a tough one. I mean, you definitely get a peat smoke, but I'm not really getting a whole lot of other things. I get some briny maritime notes now. Hey, John Post, thanks for stopping by, my friend. Some maritime goodness in there. The 40%, I think, is where it's gonna have a problem here. It's a thin mouth coat, unfortunately, but the palate's good. The palate's good, especially for a 35. I've had a lot worse 60 $70 whiskeys, nose and palate. This is reminiscent to me of a light Talisker without the peppery stuff, because it's got a lot of maritime stuff going on, seashells, the briny salt, the peat smoke. Ooh, nice opening there, John. I love that Springbank 12 Cask Strength. I've got an empty bottle back there, but that was a memorable dram. Very good for $100 too. It's hard to beat that for $100. That's where it goes for around here at least. Sometimes 110. Hmm. Hey, what's everyone else drinking? I'm just curious. Hey, Lee, did you ever open up that Glenlossie at all, or are you gonna hold that for later? I'm just curious. There's some chocolate, milk chocolate in there. Hmm. That's not bad. I mean, especially for the price. But I mean, it's not blowing my socks off great, but it's not as again, it's not as good as that Glendronach 8. But oh, Dark Cove. Oh man, that's my favorite whiskey. CR and non-CR. I like both of them. You're a lucky man to have that bottle, man. I've got an empty back here. It didn't last long. the Benromic tin, it looks like. Gonna hold off on the Lossie. I want to give it a thorough review. I understand, yeah. I understand. That's okay. Yeah, we'll have to, if you don't mind, Lee, we should probably plan out a glass or two and try to do a review together live via Google Hangouts, maybe. See how that goes if you're up for it. What I'll do is just let me know. Give me a text when you got some time off, sometime. It doesn't matter to me when it is, as long as I'm not at work, and then we could do a practice run or something and see how it goes. Maybe even talk Paul into doing it if he's not feeling bad or anything. Hopefully, maybe even Prane. I'm not sure if he will ever have any time off anytime soon. He seems like he's either traveling or working or traveling for work all the time. So, oh, that John, that Glendronach 8 is a 4 out of 5, hands down, great, $35 to $40. Outstanding whiskey, out freaking standing. I even like it, maybe even better than 12. Believe it or not, it's thanks Santa for sticking by. Hmm. I'm not just disappointed in this. I'm not disappointed in this Bowmore. Um, even though it's entry level, it's thin. I'm not expecting a 12 or an 18 by any means. I'm expecting like a nice sipper. I'm not gonna add any water or ice or anything crazy like that to it, but it's a nice light dram too for summer. It's getting warmer. A lot of people even like I was watching Aquavite earlier. He doesn't even drink whiskey in the summertime because it just gets hot. But this type of dram would be really nice in the summertime because it's light. It's still got the peat smoke. It's still got the maritime. It's still got the brininess. It's a Talisker minus the pepper and the darkness mouth coat. But you know, it is not as bad as I thought it was going to be by any means. It's solid. On a 5-star scale, though, ooh, that's a tough one, man. I mean, it's as good, I think, as that Glenlossie, maybe even close to it, maybe a three out of five, I think. Maybe not quite as refined as that Glenlossie. I'll, I've had a dram before and I liked it. It's not doesn't knock your socks off great, but you know, it's hard to compare a freaking entry level no age statement to a 19-year-old whiskey. This is the number one, John. This is from the UK. I had it shipped over from the Master Malt before they stopped shipping to the US again recently. It's just a 40%. It's first fill bourbon casks. It's peated, smoked. It's a $30 bottle. That's pretty good. Always gonna open up his Ardbeg Grooves. Oh man, I'm gonna have to pop up that sucker later after show. I might have to do that. That is a great. I think if you when you give it some time, Lee, I think you'll get more of that wine cask, that fruit. That fruit, man, is intense, and that charred oak. I think you're gonna get it if you don't saturate your palate, before you do it. I'm not sure how much you've had or if you've had anything really heavily peated yet or not, but if not, I think you'll be in for a treat, man, because it's like Balvenie 14 on steroids with it's awesome. Oh, Richie, you're gonna have to find you some of that, man. Well, the good news is, even if you can't find the CR release, the committee release, the regular release will be out here in June. The grooves 40, I think it'll be 46%, 48, something like that. Anyone going for the Belvini 12-year double cast 25 fifth year anniversary? Wow. I've never. It's kind of weird. I've never been a big, huge. Had to get a message off my screen. A Balvenie fan because the 12 port. I think it was the Doublewood 12. It was one of my first Balvenies, and it was kind of like, I did not knock socks off. Wasn't all that great. It was in the restaurant. The Caribbean cask I liked, and the Peat Week I liked, and I think I might have had something else by them. But I'll have to start maybe trying a little more Balvenie. But triple cask, I think I had recently, a 15-year-old triple cask, something like that. It was. No, that was the Macallan. Never mind. No, it's something different. I can't remember if I ever had any other Belvedere. I'll have to give them more of a second chance because the Doublewood 12 just didn't really get me going. But that Caribbean 14 and the Peat Week did. So I'm gonna have to come back to that. See how that goes. Abram shenanigans. That's Mike, I think. Mm. Yeah, surprisingly good. Just a nice tail end. You've already had your Cask Strength whiskeys. You've already had your higher ABV stuff. You're you're at the tail end. You want to have a few more drinks, but you don't want to overdo it. And this is I think a good one to have as a nightcap too. Is that Bowmore number one. I'm not disappointed. It's thin. It's not complex. It doesn't have any sherryness. It doesn't have any special cask. It's first fill bourbon. But for 40% basic whiskey, I'm down with that. I can drink that, and it's oh, they're trying to get Mike to open that poor man's pappy. Oh my goodness! Take some thick cut maple aged bacon and throw it on an open grill, close enough to feel the burn from the charcoal and how deeply it's held hard peg. Yeah, that's true. I love Ardbeg. I think they're my favorite distillery pretty much. That 20 something, that 23 that we had, Lee was gracious enough to bring, man. That is got to be my number one right now. Pretty much. I mean, Dark Cove CR I love because of the sherry. That's what the only thing I don't know if that 23 had any of. I know it had a lot of fruit going on. It had a lot of um, great complexity, age to it. It definitely showed, but that Dark Cove CR is damn good too. But it's not, you don't know what the age of it is. You don't know everything. So please don't tell Pappy. Oh, why not tell him? Let him have a little fun. If you're drunk enough, mommy can grill anything. It's true. Yes, yes, you can. It might not taste good, it might not smell good, but you can definitely burn anything. Are they discontinuing the Lefroy lore? I still see a ton out there. No, that is part of their core. The lore will remain. They have discontinued their 18 and their 15, and I think that's the only thing recently they've discontinued. Luckily, I found a couple bottles of 18 just sitting on a shelf. I got lucky and pulled a couple off, but it's hard to find the 15 and 18. I would love to find the 15 somewhere. I've tasted it. It's great. I've never had a bottle of it though. I had a sample from somebody that was really nice, but and I remember it being a different kind of Lefroy. It was a sweeter, not as peaty, but still good Lefroy, and I would love to have it again. Have my own bottle for just having it on the shelf up here. As you can see, I've got a bit of a collection going on. The but that's definitely on my hot list. If I can, I don't want to spend aftermarket. The aftermarket prices for a Lefroy 15 is not worth it. But if I can find it for 125, 150, I might splurge and get it. But if it's $200, $300, there's just no way. It's just not. Not unless it's like the last Lefroy I need, and it's the only one I need for to complete a collection or something. But I've got so many that I don't have. I mean, Lee's got a really nice set of carriages I would die to have. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find that Portwood 2013. Yeah, it is about $100 I've seen. It's a good deal. It started out 130 and it's come down to about 110 at my local place. I have seen it as low as 100. And it's well worth it. It's a very good. It's got lots of old whiskey and new whiskey in it. So is it as refined as the 18? I don't think so. I think the 18, but I do like some of the sherry notes you get with the lore. I don't get with the 18. Um, it's kind of a toss up. They're kind of tied. They're just different. Captain Marvel. I'm not even sure what's going on with that. Have you been drinking, Mike? Craziness. Well, guys, I think I'm going to cut it off here. It's about 12 o'clock. And I had fun as usual. Always do. I'm surprised I made it through the three drams. I think I did them justice. I think, this looks like Lure challenged the Yugadol and the Quarry of Ricken. That may be. Lee, the thing though with the Lee versus Quarry of Ricken slash Ugadal is I like both the Quarry of Ricken and the Ugadal I think a little better because of the pepper in the Quarry of Ricken reminds me of a really good Talisker, and the smokiness and the smoothness, the chocolate gorgeousness of the Ugadal is like just spot on. But if I want more of a peaty dram, I'm definitely would go for the lure. So that's a tough one. It's just all about mood, I think, between those three. I'd say that's just me. Um, but I did enjoy the lure. I've got an empty bottle back there. Do them side by side in the blind. Yeah, I do need Scotch test dummies have a new video I've noticed where they go through blind how to do a proper blind testing. So I might have to review that and see what they do and maybe if I can wing it, maybe pull off a blind thing. They have some of this cool black stuff that they coat the glass with, the Glencairn, and they had a hell of a good job doing their peach shootout recently, where the Ardbeg Dark Cove committee release won for Scott. Thankfully, him and I have a really similar palate because we both like the peat, we both like the sherry, we like it all. And Bart's was the Kilhoman, I believe it was the original Cask Strength, which is also an excellent dram. And I still have a lot of that back there on the shelf as well. I might have to pull out again. I did do a review of that, I think, not too long ago. I'll have to go back and take a look to make sure. Yeah, thanks, Mike, for going back and taking a look at the show. Please give it a thumbs up if you can, if you haven't already. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I like doing these with you guys. I wish I had more time to do them more often. Hopefully, have the new computer back next week. And if not, we'll just keep doing it the way we do it and just let it roll. It's been fun. Oh, we got the code coming. Is that the Decipher or the Alpha? There's another. Glenvis got a few of those coded. There's a Decipher or Cipher. There's a. Oh man, there's a few of those. Alpha something or other. I'd love to try one of those. I do like the basic Glenlivet 12. I mean, a lot of people don't get into it, but that was one of my first drams, and it was memorably nice. Pineapple, um, good malt. Yeah, nothing crazy special, but oh, this year's version of this cipher. I might have to see if I can find some of that. I mean, there's so many good ones out there. Sometimes I wish there wasn't as many great choices because it's like when you have, God, I don't know how many distilleries. It's got to be at least, let's say there's 300. There's probably not that many, maybe 200. And even though all of them aren't great, let's say like 50 of them are great. If you take all of the offerings that these 50 have, I mean, collecting them is just insane. Ball Blair, freaking Longhorn, Aberlour, Tomatin, Glendronach, Talisker, Glenmorangie. I mean, I could go on, and it's just like, man, there's just no stopping. But I guess I'll have to figure out how to make more space down here. Put some more shelving up or something. Oh man, I've already got two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. Probably like 12 different shelves just for scotch back here. So I got some work to do, I guess, to reorganize and arrange some of this. But the Longmore 16, yeah, I do have that. I did like it. It's a good savory dram. It reminds me of like a Ethiopian sambosa. It's like um, a pastry, savory pastry, beef and spices, and I think they have some like peas and carrots and stuff in it too. But it's really hot, like spicy, um, savory. But I enjoyed it. Some people didn't like the hotness of it, the you know the savory strength of it. But I like an assertive dram like that every once in a while. I drank the whole bottle, so I must have liked it. There's no more. I'll have to get me another one. I've got the old gray bottle back here, the old gray box. I mean, I think they redid it again. I think they've had two versions of that recently, where they've been doing a redesign. I'm not sure if they're trying to get the distillery up, but yeah, same here. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. It's been awesome. The old gray box ain't what it used to be. I forgot what the old one looked like. It wasn't like this, but yeah, this gray one's actually, it's decent. It's got an interesting way it opens. It like splits from the front. It's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah. At night, everybody. Love you, mom. See you later. Thanks for stopping by. Sláinte